the excitement heading into this time of year, the chance for a couple guys to bring home, or ladies too, some hardware. I mean, just mindset heading into this weekend.
Well, I mean, it's on the men's side, it's really exciting. We're up to number 3 in the country. I've cautioned all of our athletes to just, okay, do your thing. We'll add them up at the end. Don't make any pronouncements about we're trying to win the whole thing or trying to do this or do that. So, you've got 2 days of championship for each gender. It's 19 different events. Each athlete has to focus on what they're doing. And you obviously have some chances to win individual titles like Trey and 4x1 relay or maybe an Adrian Veldscoot. So some people like that. But on the other side of the coin, it is a team. And, we want to be as high as we can at the end here. And we're really at the right place in the right time. And the irony of the men's team is it's virtually the same group we had last year, but with Trey getting injured and Jovan Martin got hurt during the championship and some bad luck along the way. So of our 12 guys, 10 of them were at the championship last year. So that's a pretty veteran squad, and we feel pretty good about it.
You talked about kind of the similarities to the last year, but what would you say is different about the men's and the women's teams just compared to a lot of the teams that you've had here?
Yeah, I think the men's team, this is the oldest team I've ever had, maybe thank COVID eligibility or injuries or whatever it's been. So it's probably the oldest track and field team we've had. It may be one of the most balanced as well. So we've got 4 scoring opportunities in the jumps, 3 scoring opportunities in the distance. Obviously Trey in the hurdles, both relays, 2 more in the sprints, and we probably missed a few opportunities along the way as well. So probably the most balanced that we've been at this championship. And so we feel kind of good about that. On the ladies' side, unfortunately, we had some bad luck where, Maudie Skyring, number 2 in the country, gets knocked down with a lap to go, and there's just no recourse. The person that fouls them gets disqualified, but you're on the ground with, track rash and black eye and sprained wrist, and your season's over. So it's kind of unfortunate for somebody like Maudie. And then Lauren Ryan, who was an elite runner for us the whole year, gets really sick and doesn't have any chance to show her way. So disappointed for them, but women's 4x1 is in the top 3, chance to win. Blessing Odiong is in the 1 to 2, and she was the ACC MVP, so she's real good. 2 really good elite javelin throwers, and then Imani Heaven in the discus. So still some scoring opportunities there, and you just never know. You get out there, you do your thing, you have no idea that small women's group could be top 10, or this big men's group that you think has a chance to be on the podium top 4 could be outside the top 10. You just don't know. But we do feel like the people we're bringing are really ready to go and super, super healthy. And again, the oldest group we probably had out there.
I wanted to ask you about Trey, and I talked to him earlier, just such an elite athlete. I mean, what he was able to do. I said, I think the funniest thing about that race was his face afterwards. And he said, I saw the time one, and then I realized I was running against the wind. When you saw it, what was your reaction?
Yeah, that's just incredible. If you turn the wind around, he's got the collegiate record, and he's one of the best in the world ever. How many times you get to say that? We have Walter Dix here, special guy, collegiate record holder, 2-time bronze medal winner while he was here. And then Trey's even just a notch above that right now. But you see that he has that hunger. He's where last year, really, really ready to go, never won a national title, region meet, warming up, his hamstring locks up, and he's done. Sits down for 6 weeks, cross trains, does almost no hurdling, if not any, and still almost makes the Olympic team. He was 1 spot out. So this was the revenge tour for Trey. And I'm just really hoping he gets that collegiate record, because he would have, if not for running into that kind of headwind, which is certainly not helpful.
I mean, as far, you mentioned Walter Dix, and I mean, he's definitely going to go down in the books as one of the most elite athletes that's ever competed here at Florida State. When you think about every person that's come through this program, where does Trey rank?
I mean, he's at the top. I mean, he's right there with anybody we've had. I mean, people don't realize that Hannah England, who ran for us, had the collegiate record and was silver medalist in the World Championships. And, Susan Kuyken's made 2 Olympic finals and finished in the top 6. And, Kimmy's gotten the bronze medal. Kimmy still trains here. So we've had some incredible ones. Goni Makusha, collegiate record holder, 4th in the Olympic Games, people like that. But Trey's right there at the top. Maybe it's a balanced group. And if you go back to the 83-84 team where the women won back-to-back national championships, Marita Payne was a silver medalist and, sub 50 quarter miler, which is incredible even today. So we've had quite a few, but Trey's equal, if not a chance to be heads above everybody.
How have you seen Amani develop throughout her career here?
Yeah, that's been kind of crazy because Amani's been this weight room beast. I mean, she's the strongest human we've had come out of that weight room, certainly on the women's side, and really, really works hard. And, did a good job with Dorian Scott with the coach, but just couldn't make it all click. And now with Doug Reynolds coming as coach, that's just work. Sometimes it doesn't matter the message, but the messenger. And so I think with Doug, he's a real low-key guy, and they've just clicked. And she almost made it in the shot put, if not for the third throw. There's 2 throwers left. In comes this giant thunderstorm, and you're trying to throw a metal ball with a wet hand, and she just missed it by 16 centimeters. Comes back with a vengeance in the discus, and and makes it easily, actually. So real excited for Amani. Florida girl. Donald Heaven was a football and track guy here. Her dad the coach. So really cool for Amani to come through.
You talked about the veteran team. It's been one of the more. What does that do for you and your team? Do you feel like there's more leadership than past teams and things like that?
Yeah, I think it's leadership is big, but I think on top of that, you're working on process. You're under coaching rather than over coaching, which you never want to do anyway. But you don't have a lot to prepare. You've done this rodeo so many times. It's just, okay, what are we doing now? What are we doing now? You got your warm up set. Get them in the blocks, get them in their position, get them lined up, get their warm up done. Take care of all those things away from the track and let them go do their thing. And that's what the older athletes make in every sport so much easier for us coaches.
It might be easy in the relays to just say, I've got 4 fast guys, I'll just put 4 fast guys out there, but have you seen an element of chemistry and how they've kind of worked together?
We really have. And the men's 4x1, women's 4x1 has been really good, and we flipped Blessing from the anchor to the leadoff. For whatever reason, she gets, ready to go and can't wait for that baton, because she's just jumping up and down. So we put her on the leadoff, and we flipped it around, and Coach Kane did that, and it's made a big, big difference. But on the men's side, we've only really had one change at the lead. Alex Collier was kind of holding it down, had a hamstring problem. Put Taylor Banks on there, who's on fire right now. He led it off last year, made the 100-meter final. So they all came together, ran the second fastest time in FSU history, which is a pretty good history in the 4x1. So, they're in a really good spot, and they've been flawless. They've been, on point. Coach Hargrove's got them, in the right spot. When they hit that block, this guy goes, sticks his hand back, and knows the baton's going to be there. It's that trust factor. And the older guys, and they're warriors. Those guys are scrappers, and they're street fighters. They're not nervous. They want theirs. Which is a great kind of testosterone-driven 4x1 that those guys are, and but they're disciplined as well. They trust the process, and then they go.
Yeah, I wanted to ask you one more question about Trey. I mean, he just seems so cool, so confident. Is that a credit to the 5th-year element? I mean, the kind of humbleness, the knowing what he wants. I mean, what do you attribute that to?
I mean, he's always been, a pretty great performer. Had the high school national record, and he's kind of a showman, right? He loves to do his thing and put on a show, so to speak. But at the same time, what he's missed, 2 of the 4 years where he got dinged up and didn't get his title till this year indoors. You saw that great relief when he finally won, and we were like, we knew you were going to win, right? But it's just kind of like that release of finally checking that box. And I think that's helping him outdoors, plus not being able to go in the shape of his life, last year, and being able to just put his head down and grit out a 4th place in the Olympic trials kind of shocked him a bit. So now it's a bit of the revenge tour, but it's more of this is an opportunity, and I understand now I don't want to miss anything because it could be taken away that fast. And so I think there's that aggression and that execution. I've got to do this, and I'm not scared of the result. I'm not afraid to hit hurdles. It's either going to be good or it's going to be great, but there's no other possible result.